Hello everyone, welcome to NTA JEE Main Test 67 Chemistry Discussion. I am Shashi Shekhar and we are going to start with the very first question. So the first question is, calculate the ratio of wavelengths for an alpha particle and a proton accelerated through the same potential difference. So for when it is asking about wavelength, we need to use the de Broglie wavelength, that is lambda equal to h by p, because it is also showing some particle nature. So for matter waves we use lambda equal to h by p, and p is the momentum here. So momentum can be written in the form of kinetic energy. It is root 2 mk, and kinetic energy again can be converted to potential difference, because the charge has been accelerated through the same potential difference. So when the charge is accelerated through potential difference, the kinetic energy is charge into the potential difference, q into v. So now we get the formula lambda equal to h upon root 2 mqv. So we use this as for lambda alpha and lambda for proton. So for lambda of alpha, wavelength of alpha, h and h will be constant, so it will get cancelled out. Also 2 is constant, so it will also get cancelled out, and v is also constant, so v will also get cancelled out. So what we get is under root and inversely proportional to, therefore mass of proton into charge of proton upon mass of alpha upon charge of alpha. So this is equal to mass of proton and mass of alpha. So mass of alpha is 4 times the mass of proton, and charge of alpha is 2 times the charge of proton. So it is 1 by root 8. So 1 by 2 root 2. So 1 by 2 root 2 is the correct answer here. The standard reduction potential at 298 Kelvin for single electrodes are given below. All right, so we have been given the electrode potentials, like for Mg 2 plus 2 Mg. So when it has a negative value, you should like take it as like the reduction for magnesium, Mg 2 plus 2 magnesium is difficult and it requires 2.34 volt, and Zn2 plus to zinc is minus 0.76, so it needs 0.76 volt to get converted. Fe2 plus to Fe is also needs 0.44 volt. Negative sign, you can take it as it needs that voltage. So we have to, I think, choose the correct answer. From this we can tell that zinc can reduce both Mg2 plus and Fe2 plus. So when zinc can reduce, it means zinc itself will get oxidized, and therefore when zinc gets oxidized, the oxidation the potential is 0.76 volt. So it produces like 0.76 volt, and you need to reduce Mg2 plus to Mg. So reduction needs 2.34 volt, but the voltage provided by zinc, potential provided by zinc is only 0.76, so it cannot get reduced. So this is not the correct answer. Fe can reduce both Mg2 plus and Zn2 plus. So Fe when Fe can reduce, it means itself it gets oxidized, and when it gets oxidized, it produces 0.44 volt. So this is just the way of solving in a common sense. You can also solve it like from the formula E cell equal to E naught, or E naught cell equal to E naught cathode minus E naught anode, and make the value of E naught cell positive. When it is positive, the reaction will be spontaneous. So when we are saying Fe can reduce, so Fe is producing 0.44 volt, and to reduce Mg2 plus, it needs 2.34 volt. So again Fe cannot reduce magnesium 2 plus ion. Mg can reduce both Zn2 plus and this. So when when Mg gets oxidized, it produces 2.34 volt, and this 2.34 volt can be used to reduce this also, because it needs 0.76 volt to reduce, and this needs 0.44 volt to get reduced. So this is the correct answer. Magnesium can reduce both zinc 2 plus and Fe2 plus ion. So what I was telling about an alternate method, like you can see the E naught cell equal to E naught cathode minus E naught anode. So just use the values, like when Mg can reduce both Zn2 plus. So when Zn2 plus get reduced, it will be on cathode, and it is minus 0.76 minus, and for E naught anode, magnesium is the anode, so it is minus 2.34. so overall we get a positive value. This is minus 0.76 and plus 2.34 volts. So this is greater than 0 and A0 cell is positive, so this is the spontaneous reaction. So you can think in both ways and solve the given question. Such questions they ask very frequently also. Which of the following reactions does not occur? So the question is asking with which of the following reaction does not occur. So the first reaction, this is the alkyl oxidation, the side chain, the reaction is called the side chain oxidation. So side chain oxidation of benzene, side chain oxidation of benzene. So this is the side chain, and any side chain when reacted with KMnO4, this gets oxidized to CO2H except the tertiary butyl group, because tertiary butyl group, this will also get oxidized, this will also get oxidized. The major thing is the carbon that is attached with benzene must contain a hydrogen for when we are talking about alkyl groups. So this group does not contain hydrogen and this cannot be oxidized, therefore this is the correct answer. For the reaction, this rate and rate constants are given to us respectively, then the concentration of N2O5 at that time. So we just need to use the given equation for rate is equal to, and the order of the reaction, because it is per second, the order will be first order, K times N2O5 to the power 1, and therefore rate we have been given 1.02 into 10 to the power minus 4 mole per liter is molar per second. What is the value of K is 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 5 per second. So second and second are cancelled out, and N2O5 concentration. So to cancel 3.10 to the power minus 5, we make it as 10 to the power 10.2 into 10 to the power minus 5 upon 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 5 molar. This is equal to N2O5 concentration. So 10 to the power minus 5 gets cancelled out and it is 3 times. So this is 3 molar. Calculate H plus and percentage dissociation of 0.1 molar solution of NH4OH. So writing NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide, is an older method. Alright, so NH4OH basically it stands for NH3. So this is the older method it was written as NH4OH, but now people write only ammonia NH3. So take it as NH3 only. Calculate H plus and percentage dissociation of 0.1 molar solution of NH3. The ionization constant for NH3 has been given. So 0.1 molar NH3, we have to write the equation NH3 aqueous plus H2O liquid. This gets hydrolyzed to NH4 plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. We know the value of Kb. Kb is 2 into 10 to the power minus 5. Alright, so we know the value of Kb and we know the initial concentration. This is 0.1 molar. So you just need to again set up the ice table or initial change at equilibrium minus x plus x plus x. At equilibrium it will be 0.1 minus x, x and x. So we can write Kb equal to x square upon 0.1 minus x, which is approximated with x square upon 0.1. Taking x less than 0.1 because Kb is very small number. So what we get from here is x square equal to Kb into 0.1, this is equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 6. So x is equal to 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Alright, so we have got the value of x and we can find the percentage dissociation. Therefore the percentage dissociation, this is x upon change upon initial value. Initial was 0.1 into 100%. So this is 0.1 upon 100, this becomes 1000. So 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 3 and this 1000 cancel out. So this is 1.4%. So there is only one value with 1.4%, and they are asking to calculate H plus. We have already calculated OH minus. The value of x is the concentration of OH minus. So you can calculate H plus from here, dividing Kw with OH minus, you will get H plus. So this comes out to be the answer. A nucleoside, basically nucleotide without the phosphate group is the nucleoside. So nucleoside is the sugar containing only the base. So this is the sugar CH2OH, and this is a 5-membered ring, but if opened this will have 6 carbon. So this is a 5-membered ring, sorry, 5, this is this ring contains 4 carbon, but actually the chain will have 5 carbon atoms. 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3, 4 and 5 carbon are present here. So it will be a pentose, aldopentose, and a base, nitrogenous base. This does not contain any phosphate group, so phosphoric acid will not be formed. So these are the wrong answers. If it were the nucleotide, then all 3 of them would have been formed. Which one shows the best formation of adduct? So best formation of adduct, we need a good nucleophile as well as we need a good electrophile. So we need both cases, like out of BF3 and BBR3, BBR3 is better electrophile because the overlap is poor. In BF3 2p orbital overlap somehow, and BCl3 also 2p and 3p orbital, 2 pi p pi d pi bond, what we say. But in BBR3 the energy or shape is very different, when are not close enough. So BBR3 is a good electrophile. So out of these two options, now oxygen is bonded with SiH3. When oxygen is bonded with SiH3, again silicon has 3d orbital to accept electron of oxygen. So here again 2p, or you can say p pi d pi bond will be formed, and the lone pairs of oxygen will be less available. So lone pair of oxygen will be less available, then it will be a poor nucleophile. So but with carbon, because carbon does not have any 3d orbital, the oxygen of carbon is not donated to carbon, the lone pair of oxygen is not donated to carbon, and oxygen will act as a good nucleophile here. So this is a good nucleophile, this is a good electrophile. The best formation of adduct will be in this case. Moving on to the next question, question number 8. Which of the following oxy acids contain both pH and pp bonds simultaneously? So first of all, we need to draw the structures. For drawing this structure, the main thing you should know that phosphorus bond must contain a double bond O. So both phosphorus will contain a double bond O. Now just put first we will put OH groups so that hydrogen gets over. So 2 OH this side, by symmetry 2 OH this side, and we are left with a single oxygen. See 5 oxygen is only present here. So remove this group. Oxygen is already exhausted. We have used only 2 hydrogen, so we use one more hydrogen with this and 1 oxygen with the bond itself. So this is the structure of H4P2O5. Now for H4P2O7, H4 again make the bond P double bond O, and we have 7 oxygen this time. So 2 OH groups this side and 2 OH group this side. Now what? Our hydrogen has been finished. We have 4 hydrogen and we have finished the hydrogen, and 6 oxygen has been used, so only 1 oxygen is left. So this is the structure. Now H4P2O6, again P double bond O, P double bond O. So O6, again OH groups to both sides, and OH groups to both sides. So what we are left with? OH, wait a second. So we are left with nothing. So just attach these bonds. So this is the structure of H4P2O5, and we have been asked it should contain both pH and PP bond. So it contains pH bond, but there is no PP bond. Therefore, this is not the answer. Then this does not have pH bond. No pH bond is present here, so this will not be the answer. And this again, this does not have a pH bond. This has a PP bond but does not have a pH bond, so this cannot be the answer. So none of these is the answer. Which of the following statements are correct for butadiene? So they are asking us about bond length and bond order. So you must know the resonance structures of butadiene. for butadiene it is this, and two more structures contribute some to some extent, this and also positive and this side negative. So these three structures are the resonance structures of butadiene. So if you see an average, you will see that double bond is somewhat located on all the carbon, between all the carbon. This is basically because all the carbon atoms have 2p orbital to overlap, and they overlap in a good fashion here. So let's see the options. Which of the following statement are correct? We need to find the correct. C1 C2 and C3 C4 bonds are longer than carbon carbon double bond. So because C1 C2, see here, this is one, first of all let us remove these pi bonds. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4. So 1 and 2, C1 and C2 has some double bond character, but in these groups it has a single bond character. So this double bond character is actually getting some single bond character, and therefore the bond length will increase. So C1 C2 bond and C3 C4 bonds are longer than carbon carbon double bond. This is a correct option. The C1 C2, we have to choose the correct option out of them. The C1 C2 and C3 bonds are shorter, so this will not be the option. C2 C3 bond is slightly shorter. Now see, C2 C3 bond is a single bond here, but in this structure it has some double bond, it has a double. So this structure C2 C3 will have some double bond character, and when it has some double bond character, the bond length will be reduced. So C2 C3 bond is slightly shorter than the single bond, so this is also the correct. So 1 and 3 are the correct options. The incorrect statement. Be2 plus cation has largest hydration energy among alkaline earth metals. This is very true, because Be2 plus has the smaller size and therefore a very high electron density, and when it has a very high electron density, H2O can surround it to a large extent and can solve it very much. So this is a correct option. We need to find the incorrect one. The second ionization enthalpies of alkaline earth metal are smaller than those of the corresponding alkali metals. For second ionization enthalpy, like for Na, making Na plus is quite easy, but making Na2 plus from Na plus is difficult because it has already acquired the noble gas configuration. So what happens here is IE2 becomes greater than IE1, but this is not the case with magnesium. Magnesium to magnesium plus is easy. Magnesium 2 plus is a bit difficult, but not very much. But making Mg3 plus is difficult because this Mg2 plus has acquired noble gas configuration, and here IE3 is very much greater than IE2. The jump is observed here, and IE2 is greater than IE1. So what it is saying, the second ionization enthalpies of alkaline earth metal are smaller than those of corresponding. So this is the correct statement, because here ionization energy increases very much. So this is again the correct statement. Li is the strongest reducing agent among all elements. Again this is true, because Li is oxidized to Li plus itself, and therefore it will reduce the other, and Li plus aqueous has very high solvation, very good hydration, and therefore formation is quite easy. So this is the strongest reducing agent. LiCl and MgCl2 are the most ionic in their groups. So this is false, because this is basically governed by Fazan rule, and when you have been asked to see the ionic character or covalent character, so you can use the Fazan rule, because Li plus and Mg2 plus are smaller in size, and since they are smaller in size, the Cl minus will be polarized to a large extent, and when it will be polarized to a large extent, it will basically the covalent character in this will increase, because the sharing has been increased. So they are not most ionic, they are most covalent. So this is the false option here. Kp for the reaction this at 250 degrees Celsius is 0.82. Calculate the degree of dissociation at given temperature under a pressure of 5 atm. what will be the degree of dissociation if the equilibrium pressure is 10 atm at the same temperature? So there is something mistake in the options. They have asked us 2 questions, but they have given the answer of only one. So just see how to solve this question, and then we'll decide what to do. PCl5 gas is being decomposed to PCl3 gas and Cl2 gas. We have been given the value of Kp, this is 0.82, and we have been asked to calculate the degree of dissociation. So let us assume the gas contains 1 mole, initially 1 mole, and minus the degree of dissociation is alpha, so minus alpha, alpha and alpha. So total mole formed is 1 minus alpha at equilibrium. This is alpha, this is alpha. So this is equilibrium moles. So the mole fraction will be 1 minus alpha upon total mole. So total mole is 1 plus alpha, adding these 3 quantities. This is alpha upon 1 plus alpha, this is alpha upon 1 plus alpha. Total pressure has been, let the total pressure be P here. So this P, P, and this is P. So this becomes the partial pressures. Now Kp we can calculate. Kp, this is equal to alpha P upon 1 plus alpha into alpha P upon 1 plus alpha into 1 plus alpha upon 1 minus alpha times P. So pressure gets cancelled out, 1 plus alpha gets cancelled out, and we are left with alpha P upon 1 minus alpha square. Alright, so we need to calculate alpha here. Oh sorry, alpha square, it is alpha square. So Kp by P, this is equal to alpha square upon 1 minus alpha square. So let's use componendo or dividendo here and add, this implies Kp upon Kp plus P, this is equal to alpha square upon 1 minus alpha square plus alpha square. This gets cancelled out, this is equal to alpha square, and therefore alpha is equal to under root Kp upon Kp plus P. So what is the value of Kp here? Kp was 0.82 and Kp plus P. So now you need to calculate. Kp was 0.82, and if they have asked us at 5 atm, this will be 5.82, and if they have asked us at 10 atm, this will be 10.82. So this is now we have to calculate. So calculate the given values. Okay, so let us check it at this thing only, means at 10 atm only. So alpha at 10 atm will be 0.82. So let us make it as 82 and 1082. So what we get is, this is approximately 81. So this is root of 81 is 9. This is approximation, and 1082. So this is 100 into 10. So 100 is 10, root of 100 is 10, and root 10. So root 10 is 3.2 around value. So we get value that is less than 3. Means if we calculate percentage dissociation, so percentage dissociation is alpha into 100%. This is equal to 9 by 10 into 3.2 into 100%. This gets cancelled out, and this is less than 30%. Right? Less than 30% means very near to 30%, but less than 30%. So 27.5% seems to be the answer. So the option is not clear actually, so it might go bonus, I do not know. Moving on to the next question, question number 12. OCH3, AlCl3 is present. So AlCl3, this Cl will first form a bond with AlCl3, and then this will depart and it will form a carbocation here. So this will be OCH3, and a carbocation will be formed here, and this carbocation will be attacked by this bond here. So actually this can also be attacked by this position if you rotate this, but in the options they have shown us the attacked position is ortho only, like here also wait a second. We do not have all the options, but the options they have attacked to ortho position only, so we are attacking it to ortho position, and then it will be formed like this. It is making a 1 2 3 4 5 6 membered ring is being formed. This is OCH3 group, and after the attack, after the steps has been completed, this will have 6 membered ring here, and this 6 and 5 is attached with one more 6 membered ring. So this is like this. So these are not the options. This is incorrect, this is incorrect, because it is forming 5 membered ring. Option C and D is not with us, so please check those options. You will see somewhere that this type of structure is being formed. It is observed that H2 and helium gas always show positive deviation from ideal behavior Z greater than 1. This is because, so if you remember the graph of Z versus P, you will see that hydrogen and helium, for hydrogen and helium gas, the value of their values are always greater than 1. So because their values are always greater than, this is basically because of the attractive forces. H2 and helium, they are so small in size that the van der Waals attraction is very negligible in them, and they have always and the A term is approximately equal to 0 for them always, or equal to 0 for them always. So A is 0 or A is very small. The value of A is very large. This is wrong. A is basically dependent on intermolecular force, and they have very less intermolecular force, so A will be very less. The weak intermolecular force of the attraction, this is the correct answer. What sequence of reactions would best accomplish the following conversion? So NaBH4H3O plus, reacting it with NaBH4, both the oxygen, aldehyde and ketone, both will get oxidized, and it will form, this will form OH, this will also form OH. So this is not the what we need. And OH CH2 CH2 OH, this is glycol. So when you react it with ethylene glycol, the aldehyde is the most reactive part here, and this will get attached with aldehyde, forming the cyclic ether, acetal here. In the very first step, this will be formed, and now because aldehyde has been this is called the ring protection, this is called the protecting group here. Why protecting group? Because we want to do the reduction, but we do not want the reduction to happen at this position CHO. So we have first protected the group using ethylene glycol, and now we will reduce it with NaBH4. So only the acetone parts get reduced. This becomes OH. This is still the same, and then with H2OH plus we remove this part, and the aldehyde is again formed. So B is the correct option here. dG by dP at constant temperature will be. So this question is somehow, we do not study this type of equations in our syllabus much, but let's see how we will solve this. So G, the G is defined at H minus Ts, and H is defined as, we need to convert it somehow to the terms of pressure, because G is being G is being differentiated with respect to pressure here. So H is E plus PV minus Ts. Alright, so now dG is equal to dE plus PdV plus, this is basically del G, I guess. They have written it wrong here, but anyway, VdP minus TdS minus SdT. Okay, so we do not need dE also. dE can be converted, like for very small change, dE is equal to dQ plus dW. So and dW is equal to minus P dV. So substituting everything, also dQ, this ds is equal to dQ by dt. So dq is equal to TdS. So putting dE first, dE is equal to dq plus dW plus pdV plus vdP minus TdS minus SdT. So dq is TdS, dW is minus pdV plus pdV plus vdP minus TdS minus SdT. So TdS minus TdS, it gets cancelled out, pdV gets cancelled out, so we are remained with vdP minus SdT. Now if temperature has been made constant, so this term will be 0 and dG by dP will be equal to V. So V is the correct answer. If pressure were to be constant, then dG by dt would have been minus S. So we do not need to find dG by dt, we need to find dG by dP, so the correct answer is V. Oxime with H2SO4, so this is a Beckmann rearrangement. So in Beckmann rearrangement, OH first will absorb this, OH will get protonated basically because H3O plus is present, so OH2 plus is formed in the first step. When OH2 plus has been formed, now it will depart, but which group? Some group basically migrates from here. This can be either CH3 or pH. So basically the migrating group is trans 2 OH2 plus, trans 2 OH2 plus. The migrating group is trans 2 OH2 plus. So CH3 here is trans 2 OH2 plus. So this gets to this position and OH2 plus departs. So what we are left with is PHC, positive charge, C double bond N and a CH3 group, or you can make this bond react to here so that the triple bond gets formed, but anyway we can leave it to this position also. Now H2O reacts with carbon and it forms PHC OH2 plus double bond N CH3. Then this will lose one hydrogen. Loss or gain occurs every time, so you do not need to think much for this. And then this will form the ketone, enol. This is like enol, and this will form the given aldehyde product NHCH3. So PHCO NHCH3 is the correct answer. So A is the correct answer we got. Which of the following compound will not undergo amine inversion? So what happens in amine inversion is like this NH3 group, this first becomes planar and the lone pair come in 2p orbital, and then they get inverted, like this becomes this. So we are talking about this inversion. So this inversion will not be possible in ring, because ring, how can it get converted? Like you can think this is a very common sense type question. Match the column 1 with column 2. So this is a question you should remember such things. Natural polymer, silk is not natural polymer, I know this thing. So P matches with 3, the correct answer. Such questions are quite easy if you know at least any one of the given options. Find the number of molecules having 2 lone pairs on central atom. So you need to make the Lewis structures really fast. Iodine, when connected iodine with a single bond, these iodine will not have any formal charge, so we need a formal charge and we'll give it to the central iodine. So 1 electron, 2 electron, 3, 4, 5, 6, and therefore iodine has a formal charge of +1 and it has 2 electron pairs. So this is a correct option we get. XeF2, F. How many electron lone pair we need? 3 to make the formal charge 0. So this is not the answer. In XeF4 we have 4 fluorine already attached. How many electron is left? 4 electron for xenon. So this is correct. In H2O we already know this structure, very much familiar with it. So H2O is correct option, and H2 minus is isostructural with H2O, so this will also be the correct answer. H2S is same as H2O, so this will also be the answer. SO4 2 minus does not have any lone pair at center, so this will not be the answer. NF3 has a single electron. NO2 minus I guess has a single electron at the center, so this is not the answer. XeOF2 is similar to XeOF4 if you simply see as structure, so you get this as answer. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 options you get. Iron crystallizes in body centered cubic BCC. So when BCC, it has one atom at the body centered and one atom at the corner. So overall atom if counted, so 1 plus 1 by 8 into 8, so we get 2 atoms. Now with edge 2.86 angstrom, we have been given the edge 2.86 angstrom. What we need to calculate, the density of the iron is nearly x gram per ml. What is the value of x here? Report your answer by rounding it up to nearest whole number. Alright, so if rounding off to the nearest whole number, it becomes a bit easy to us. So but here is a problem again. So 2 atoms, mass of 2 iron atoms, iron crystallizes in this, so mass of 2 Fe atoms in gram, this is equal to 2 into 56 upon Na. See, they have not given us the values of mass of iron, so you will face some problem here. So this we know this in gram. Now we need to find an ml, that is centimeter cube, and the length is this. So volume of cell, this is equal to A cube, this is equal to 2.86 into 10 to the power minus 10 cube, this meter cube. So meter cube need to be converted to centimeter cube, so 1 meter cube is 10 to the power 6 centimeter cube. 1 meter is 100 centimeters, so 1 meter cube is 10 to the power 6. So this becomes 2.86 cube into 10 to the power minus 10, so 30 and plus 6 minus 24 centimeter cube. So we know gram, we know ml, we just need to divide this. So density is equal to mass upon volume. So mass we know 2 into 56 upon Na is 6.02 into 10 to the power 23, and this is 2.86 cube into 10 to the power minus 24, this is gram per ml. So 10 to the power minus 24 and 23, this gives minus 1, so multiply it with 10. Write 2 into 56 into 10 upon 6.02 into 2.86 to the power 3. Calculating this is quite difficult, and they have asked you to report the answer in nearest whole number, and nearest whole number will be the nearest integer, and calculating nearest integer is difficult here because we have used so many approximations. We have not been given the value of atomic number of iron, we have not been given the value of Na, how many significant figure we have to take. So divide it and see what you get. The answer they have given is 6000, I guess, not 6000, sorry. The answer they have given is in gram per ml. Like if we solve, so 2 gets cancelled out, 3, this becomes approximately, so we are solving it a very near approximation. So what we are left is 2.8 to the power 3. See, 3 cube is 27, so this is near to 2.9, 2.8, greater than 2.8 actually. So it will be somehow near to 24, 20, 24, 25. So this will be 56 into 10 upon 3 into 24. It's only approximation we are doing here. So 24 this is 28. What we get now is 24, 280. There is no cancellation. 2 2 z 2 6 z 12, 2 14 ja 28, then this is 140, this is 18, .7 something. This is approximately equal to 8. So see the values. If you get 8 as the answer, so this is correct. I've just solved it so roughly, so check it yourself. What volume of hydrogen in ml will be liberated at STP by the reaction of zinc on 50 ml of dilute H2SO4 of specific gravity 1.3. So at STP, again there is a problem with STP. They generally take 11.2 as 22.4 as the volume at STP, but it has been changed and 22.7 is the correct STP. So anyway, so zinc is reacted with H2SO4. Zinc reacts with H2SO4 2H plus to make Zn2 plus. It gets oxidized and H2 is produced. So what we need to find is 1.3 specific gravity is actually relative density with water, so it is 1.3 gram per ml. With 1.3 gram H2SO4 per ml of solution, we have 50 ml of solution, so this is 50 ml, so it gets cancelled out, and the solution is 40% pure, so it is 0.40. So we get 1.3 into 20 gram H2SO4. This is equal to 26 gram H2SO4. So we have the mass of H2SO4. Now moles of H2SO4. Moles of H2SO4 is equal to 26 upon 98 mole, and mole of H plus will be twice of this, so 2 into 26 upon 98 mole. Now we have got the mole of H plus, so mole of H2 will be half of it, so mole of H2, this is equal to 26 upon 98, and therefore volume of H2 is equal to 26 upon 98 into 1 mole is 22.4 liter. Alright, so again they are asking us in nearest whole number, rounding it to nearest whole number. Alright, so 98 can be rounded off to 100 around, but there is again a problem. Hydrogen in milliliter. So in milliliter, this value will be 26 into 22400 upon 98. So you need actually to find the exact value by dividing it with first you need to multiply 26 into 24, and then you need to round off this, and then you need to divide exactly with 98, and then you need to take the exact answer. Now what of the significant figures? If you will consider the significant figure, then you will have to answer in only 2 significant figures, but I do not think they will consider any significant figure here. So you need to multiply these two numbers, 26 into 224, and then divide it with 98, and then only you can claim the answer. But what they have done here is they have rounded off this 98, means if we need the round off calculation, so 26 into 224, this is the incorrect one, I am telling you already, upon 100. So 26 into 224, so what we get is 41344. 5824. Alright, so 5824 milliliter. So answer should be like this only. Report your answer by rounding it up to nearest whole number. So such numbers will be nearest whole number. What they have done is they have rounded off like this, 6000. So this is not the nearest whole number to this. 5824 is itself a whole number. So there is some mistake in writing it as the nearest whole number. This has some flaw with this. So hopefully you have understand. So what you need to do is you need to do the exact calculation here. You need to multiply 26 into 224 exactly, and you need to divide it with 98, and then only you can claim the given answer. Yes, if they have asked us in liter, the number, the nearest whole number in liter, then 6 would have been the correct answer. 6 liter would have been the correct answer if nearest whole number would have been asked. But claiming in milliliter, it is actually a wrong one. Alright, how many of these compounds can show metamerism here? Some compounds have been, this is C double bond O here only. So this cannot show metamerism because both side equal number, means this CH3 and CH3 is present. For metamerism, only carbon has to be changed. Like in this group, this contains this, and if we switch one carbon to this side, we get the structure as this. So this can show metamerism, means the number of carbon about the functional group should be different. Like in this also, when this is a correct answer, we are making square to the correct answers. This is the given ether. So again you can take one carbon and you can put it to this side. So this will form the oxygen. Both side have different carbons, so this will form metamer. This group N, and it has one hydrogen, and this has 3 hydrogen, this has 3 hydrogen. So again you can change the longest chain, and this can also act as the given metamerism. This can show metamerism. And then CH3, this is the ester group, C double bond O CH3. So ester is can also be made with one hydrogen, so you can switch this hydrogen this side, and you can see the structure coming out to be like this. So these two are metamers, and they have given the metamer itself. So this will be the option, this will be the option, and then this thing CH3, one side only one CH3 is present. So if you move one CH3 to this side, it will form the same group, C2H5. Like if you move one CH3 to this side, you will get C2H5 and then sulfur and then CH3 again. So this is the same group, so this will not show the metamer. So we are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options only. So 5 will be the answer. To the next question here, how many ligands are ambidentate? So more than one ligand should be present, and more than one donor atom should be present, and means at a time only one should bind. So Cn minus carbon also can bind and nitrogen also can bind. At a time only one binds actually. So in ONO, oxygen, nitrogen, H2O3 2 minus again oxygen and sulfur can bind, and CNO minus nitrogen, oxygen can bind. So C2O4 2 minus only oxygen can bind. Both are same oxygen, not different oxygen, like a similar type of oxygen. This has similar oxygen, it binds with both nitrogen, so this will not be the answer. This will not be the answer because it has a single donor. This will not be the answer because it has same type of donor. So only 4 options are correct here. So hopefully you have understood the given option, and some integer like natural rounding off to the nearest whole number are actually had some flaw with the given question. So solve it to the given accuracy and then claim your answer. So alright, we'll meet in the next discussion. Thank you.